Greetings fellow Whovians and welcome to Timey Wimey Review. Before I start this review, I just wanted to say a huge congratulations to Jodie Whittaker, who at the time of recording a few days ago gave birth to her second child. Now Jodie has decided to keep this part of her life private, so we don't really know whether it was a boy or a girl or the name of the child, but to be honest, that's fine by me. As long as mother and baby are happy and healthy, that's all I need to know. That's good enough for me. Now onto this video, grab yourself a Gronk burger and hit the subscribe button as I review the Ninth Doctor episode, The Long Game, originally broadcast on BBC One back in May 2005. Just in case you don't know the plot, the Ninth Doctor, Rose Tyler and new travelling companion Adam arrive on a space station called Satellite 5, which is orbiting the Earth in the year 200,000. To quote the Doctor, this is the fourth great and bountiful human empire, planet Earth at its height. However, the Doctor suspects that something is amiss. He feels that the human race should be far more advanced in its technology and ideals, and somehow it is all being stunted. Also, there is the mystery surrounding Floor 500 and its figurehead, the Editor. I want to start off this review with the dynamics between the Ninth Doctor and Rose. I really like the chemistry between these two characters. And to be honest, I enjoyed this dynamic more than the dynamic between the 10th Doctor and Rose. I feel that the 9th Doctor and Rose, it's a more platonic relationship. Maybe the 9th Doctor being more of a father figure to Rose, where the 10th Doctor and Rose, it's more going on to the romanticised story arc that Russell T Davies wanted to introduce. And fair enough, some people love it. Personally, I'm not a fan. I prefer the more platonic relationship between the Doctor and Rose. Having said that, this dynamic is not particularly perfect in this episode because we've kind of got the third wheel, in a sense, of Adam. Now, to be fair to Adam, in this episode, he was answering the right question or asking the right questions with the Doctor in terms of the investigating side. But they kind of, I felt like there was showboating a bit to Adam and kind of, chucking him into the deep end. Now, to compare that, when the Doctor was chucking Rose in the deep end, I thought it was a bit more sort of like, at least giving her a chance to swim. Where Adam, they kind of just dropped him, even though he's traveling with them. So you kind of have this main plot of the Doctor and Rose investigating the goings on of Satellite 5, where Adam is kind of just left to his own devices and then kind of been painted as a bit of a bad figure in terms of what he does. And the Doctor kind of jumping into conclusions that he was kind of at fault with everything, where really, to be fair, he's not. So the character of Adam, despite what's going on with the actor or what has happened with the actor, I'm not really going to go into that in this review. If you want to find that out, feel free on Google. But the character of Adam is kind of a bit redundant. He kind of just blunders in, makes quite a lot of mistakes in the second half of the episode, and then the Doctor goes off and punishes him, which I kind of liked that part in a sense, how Christopher Eccleston performs that sort of moment and just, and dropping him back to Earth. But the character on the whole kind of didn't really need to be there, just a bit sort of blundered and kind of, if anything, slows down the story. Going back to Christopher Eccleston, though, as the Ninth Doctor, he just really nails it, doesn't he? He never, ever gives a dull performance. And that's with any characters that he's interacting. Obviously, you got the main dynamics of the Doctor and Rose, but also loved his moments with Adam, but with the other supporting characters in this story, particularly with Kathika. I love the scene between him and Kathika where he was asking all these questions about why there was no aliens on the satellite and why people of the human race are treating it as such, and she just couldn't give any answers. It was just redundant ones. It was just basically she was sort of feeding back all the fake news that she and the rest of the people on Satellite 5 were given to the people of Earth. Props goes to Simon Pegg as the editor. Simon, being the big sci-fi fan that he is, you can tell on screen that he's really enjoying this role and the whole sort of production of being in Doctor Who. And I just loved every scene that he's in, interacting with all these characters and just the lines that he delivers. Double check, triple check, trying to find out who these people are. I love the interactions with him and the character Suki, who's trying to, who's pretending to be this no this member of staff, but quickly is a secret agent who sadly meets her demise. But also like the editor going one-on-one with the Doctor, and it's just sort of plausible that he's strong enough to take on the Doctor, even though he's not all in charge of what's going on Satellite 5. Which leads me to the character of the Mighty Jagrafess. I'm not going to say the full name, I can't do it, so we'll just call him Max. And I did like the character design of this. I thought the CGI worked quite well for this episode, considering this episode is now over 17 years old. And I just like that it literally, this creature hanging on the ceiling, literally observing everything, even though the editor is kind of like the mouthpiece, but it is literally the Max is the one that's molding and shaping the human race as it was, and just basically making it all go wrong. Story-wise, this episode has got a lot to say, especially in terms of the media, and that's so much more relevant now than it even was back in 2005 in terms of news broadcast. And then you got like fake news, clickbait, social media spreading words, and it's right that you ask questions and sort of don't read or believe everything that you see or hear on the news, especially when fake news is spreading, being dropped in, spreading fear and fear mongering to the public. So I really enjoyed that, or was fascinated by this aspect of this episode. Unfortunately, though, the way the episode ends kind of just undo all the themes that they kind of introduced into this episode. It just felt a little bit rushed in terms of the ending of just let's just destroy Max, and Earth will just reset itself and go into the technology and the advancement that the human race should have been doing in the eyes of the Doctor. And he just whizzes off, dumps Adam back to his own time with the door in his head. It just kind of just felt rushed, and I kind of get it, because obviously Russell T would pick up these little plot threads for the 2-part finale, but it just kind of just, I feel like it just dropped the ball a little bit in terms of the world building. We only had the Doctor's word on what should have been right in that time period. We didn't really have anything to go on in terms of I felt like really this episode should have been a 2-parter. This would have been a great 2-part episode. You could have done part 1, maybe more on Earth, where he could have described a bit more of how the technology should have been, and how the human race was sort of interacting. We kind of get a little bit of that at the beginning in the canteen scene of everyone just getting Gronk burgers and things like that, but asking more questions of why there was no aliens. And I think because we're sort of like about 7th or 8th episode into season 1, and we haven't even left Earth, all this sort of talk of travel of space and time, and we're just having a lot of earthbound stories. And I get that there was probably just budget constraints as well as season 1, which does lead into season 2, again a lot more earthbound stories. But it kind of started to get a little bit tiresome. I think what would have been better is this should have been a lot more world building. Maybe have part 1 on Earth with the TARDIS being taken away from the Doctor and trying to find out where it's gone, and then part 2 being on Satellite 5 with the TARDIS, and then sort of like unravel a bit more of how the Earth has been stunted and manipulated by Max. In all, I am going to give The Long Game a TARDIS rating of 6.5 out of 10. It is a very easy to watch, enjoyable episode nonetheless. I really enjoyed the character interactions, really good performances by all the actors involved. And again, great character work from Christopher Eccleston. Loved him interacting with all the characters in this episode, particularly with Adam, Kathika, and the editor. It's just such a shame that the episode towards the end of or the second half of the act just kind of just felt a little bit rushed for me. I felt that Russell T Davies just dropped the ball a little bit, obviously concentrating on the season finale and just sort of linking the two together. This was kind of like the donkey work to pay off for the two-part finale. But really, this could have been so much more. There could have been so much more world building. I think it could have benefited from being a two-part episode, just to sort of explore and expand on what the human empire should have been like through the Doctor's eyes. It is a good episode nonetheless, but this could have been a far greater episode. And if anything, I hope Russell T Davies, when he does come back to rewrite or to be the showrunner for Doctor Who for 2023 and beyond, just kind of comes back to the fourth and great and bountiful human empire. It could maybe even be a spin-off series of its own. Who knows? I just hope that the Doctor does one day travel back and we see that on screen. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts to The Long Game. Where would you place or rank this episode from the first series of modern Doctor Who? And also, which Doctor did you prefer Rose Tyler to be with? The 9th Doctor or the 10th Doctor? Next time on Timey Wimey Review, as promised, it's the return of my best and worst Doctor Who cliffhangers. But until then, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed this review. Please like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that cloister bell for more notifications. But as a good doctor once said, I only take the best.